We're back with Stanford Carr, president of Stanford Carr Development.
How many employees did you have in the flooring company?
Well, it would fluctuate depending on the backlog of work, but we got to as much as 40 people. Yeah.
So you were a college student with 40 employees?
Yes. It was that was challenging. You know, it's really difficult when you have employees that could be old enough to your father, to be your father, and having to give them direction and leadership. But you know, those are just skill sets that you learn out of survival and necessity that you don't realize. And that's why I tell people today that you've got to go through the journeys. You know, they can teach you all of the textbook theories of what's supposed to happen or what you should do, but those are just case studies of a certain time and a certain snapshot of a particular circumstance. You really need to, you know, my suggestion in trying to inspire people is go out and be passionate about what you do. Unless you take those chances and venture off, you'll never know. As you go through the course of your journey, whatever endeavor you pursue, you'll learn so much along the way. You make mistakes, and you learn from it. If you make it twice, then they say you're stupid, right? But you're allowed at least one mistake. But you learn from it, and you build upon that base, and you'll grow from it, and you'll learn a lot more than you sometimes subliminally know, you know. It's all out there. Go out and go do it.
Was age ever a factor for you, being that you started so young in business?
Yes. When I was much younger, I wore a mustache so I'd look older.
At 11, you had a mustache?
No. I'm talking when I was 18, 19,
okay.
You know, in my early 20s. I had a mustache just so that I'd look a little older. And it's always been a factor, even as far back as 15 years ago in the development business. People would look at me and, you know, the kid's got no gray hairs or no wrinkles. I mean, he's a kid yet, you know. And I've always been referred to as the kid. So when it didn't bother me because I was a kid, you know, in that respect. To me, I wasn't a kid, but in everybody else's eyes, I was a kid. Looking back, I was young. But at the same time, you know, there's no prejudices with age. You know, it's ability. And you have a lot, when you're younger, you got to work twice as hard to prove yourself because of your youth. People will sometimes not give you that benefit. So you got to work twice as hard. And I did. It's unfortunate that people won't, you know, let you sometimes, let me see what he can do first, rather than somewhat being, I don't know, prejudice is the right word, but because of youth, they don't have as much confidence at times. But, you know, in our mentoring younger people, we've hired younger guys to, you know, give them the opportunity and the skill sets and the exposure, because that's how you're going to learn. You got to go through the journey. You've got to go through it. I mean, I remember one of my guys, one of our people who wanted to learn the business, and he, although did not want to do financial performance, budgets and cash flows, you know, schedules of financing models, he felt that the finance guys, the accountants should do that. And I said, you know, this is Jay. I said, you will not be able to make intelligent decisions at any time if you don't understand how that decision you make will have an economic impact on the schedule or the budget or the pro forma, the projected business plan. And so you need to go through the journey to understand, because as you build it and how you work with it, so basically your financial business plan model, you'll understand that certain events causes a critical path to get upset or to disrupt the schedule, that one thing needs to happen before something else can happen, and there's an economic impact to that.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more on Greater Good Radio.